Hey guys, I'm Misc. Since the War Within Alpha launched last week, a lot of interviews and videos have come out, and with it a lot of brand new information. From delves to the quest campaign and warbands to the development team's retrospective on Dragonflight. We have a lot of information to cover. So welcome to the second episode of the limited time revival of WoW Weekly News Edition. Let's go. Let's start with quests and the campaign. Dungeons will be part of the main campaign, but you can do follower dungeons to complete them if you prefer playing solo. And not only that, but delves will be part of the campaign as well. They weren't clear if it was going to be part of the main campaign, but they also plan to bring the player into the raid during a quest, so that the environment can be used outside of the normal raiding context. Now regarding world quests, there are changes coming, but they're not quite ready to talk about it yet. And lastly, the experience required to get to level 70 is being massively reduced. A 75 to 80% reduction from 60 to 70 has been data mined for this. Moving on to delves. To start a delve, you click on the Misty portal/door and it opens your own delve instance. If you want to group up with other people, like in Mythic Plus, you can use the LFG tool as well to find a group. Now delves will have 11 difficulty levels in total. The first couple difficulty tiers will be available during leveling, and difficulty tiers 9, 10 and 11 will stop giving better loot and are just for bragging rights. The emphasis with delve difficulty is on what's more fun for the player rather than the right choice for gear. In terms of gear that they will provide, it'll be up to Mythic Plus 5 loot. And what's great for alts is the delve progress will be account wide. Now in Season 1, Bran Bronzebeard will be our companion to level. In the pre-season we can do delves and progress our companion up to level 10, and once the season starts it goes all the way up to 50. Once the delve companion is high enough level, you can equip them with curios, which are trinket-like effects. And Bran will always be with you in the delve run, even if you have a group of 5 people. In terms of tuning, under the hood delves are a lot like Torghast. They use the same tech to tune the experience properly depending on the group size and the role composition. And at the end game, delves will have different variants of each delve. The delve objectives will change on a daily cadence. Furthermore, to open the chest at the end of the run, you'll need to earn keys throughout your content, and these will likely be limited per week. And with 12 delves, there are likely to be a few delves per week that are highlighted with bonus loot. Now the delve collectibles will be purchasable with the currency, but they can also drop directly at the end of the delve. Now to top it all off, there's going to be a secret 13th delve that will unlock in Season 1, and it will contain a boss encounter. They want to make this as difficult as they can get it, a sort of mage tower challenge as it were. Now lastly, they've talked about adding delves in older zones outside of the War Within zones later on. That was a lot, so let's move on to other world content. They've said a couple of things about this. They are building new types of zone/world events. Not all of them will be like the Dragonflight world events. One example they gave of a new zone event is putting on a play with a group of people. And the other thing they've said is when the Hallowfall crystal changes the shadow, it will influence the mobs in the zone. They'll become a lot more aggressive, change in behavior, do more damage and all kinds of things like that. Alright, let's move on to Warbands. Warbands is an umbrella term for account-wide features. Your Warband is your account. They've built a new foundation for saving data, allowing more things to be account-based rather than character-based. To start things off, the War Within and Dragonflight reputations will be account-wide upon launch. You'll only be able to get reputation from quests once, so doing quests on alts will not reward you with more rep. Achievement progress will also be account-wide, but class-specific achievements will not be. One example of new account achievements is that leveling characters up to 80 will give you an account-wide 5% bonus experience for alts, up to plus 25%. Selling an item you can't wear at all will add the transmog to your collections tab, and raid skips will also become account-wide. In terms of new features, on the login screen you'll be able to favorite 4 characters to show up around the campfire. Any characters from any realm will show up together on your favorites list, and they hope to provide options to customize the character login screen during the War Within. Currently it's just the one campfire. There's also going to be an account-bound bank, and it can get 5 tabs. Unlocking these tabs will cost an increasing amount of gold, ranging from 1000 gold to a whopping 2.5 million. You'll be able to deposit gold into the bank to transfer gold between characters on different realms, and you'll even be able to transfer currency over to other characters directly from the currency tab. Lastly, a new toy you can earn with new leveling achievements will allow you to open the bank from anywhere. Alright, moving on to dynamic flying and transportation. They've made it possible for almost all the old flying mounts to fly with dynamic flying, and new characters will learn dynamic flying at level 15. As you level up you'll get the flying talents, so there will be no need for new players to find the glyphs on the Dragon Isles. And Lightning Rush, the Whirling Surge replacement of the War Within Heroic Edition mount, will be usable by other mounts as well. Now while they're not connected to talents, there will be new glyphs to earn across Kazalgar for exploration achievements as well as cosmetic perks. Lastly, they're having conversations about potential teleportations and modes of transport, so that you don't always have to fly from the surface zone all the way through the other zones to the bottom zone. Moving on to professions. Fundamentally, they're going to be like the way they were in Dragonflight, but work orders will see the addition of NPC work orders. Herbalism will have a minigame in Hallowfall, and when it comes to the auction house, they are moving towards more cross-realm features for the cross-realm auction house, and they want to remove the barriers. And lastly, the team is experimenting with archaeology, but they have nothing confirmed for launch. Okay, moving on to the UI. Quest markers are getting an overhaul again to make it much more clear what type of quests they are. And while they won't be doing it with the War Within, it is on their list to update the quest UI to better communicate the lore and NPC interactions. Meanwhile, the collections UI now has a drop-down for different classes, so you can see which items you still need to collect. And they do want to update the tabard customization in the future, but it won't be for the War Within. And lastly, for raids, they would like to clarify and improve the visibility of respawn points. Okay, moving on, we're now going to get more of a retrospective on Dragonflight from the devs, and there's some really interesting stuff in here. When they started on Dragonflight, they set the goal of 8 weeks per patch. Now they're looking at how they can make this content cadence sustainable for both the dev team and the players. For different patches such as Plunderstorm and Remix, they set goals for those patches. Plunderstorm met those goals, and they'll see on Remix. One of the things they've learned is more is not always better. 10.2.5 did not have the same staying power as 10.1.5 did, for example. And they've done patches that felt like a disconnected set of additions, and a problem of that is discoverability. Not all players know that it's there, and the team has ideas on how to improve that. They also touched on the different versions of WoW. There's a lot of different versions now: Retail, Classic, Season of Discovery, Hardcore, and they can do that because they have the player base to do so. A lot of what they've done in game modes for Classic is a direct reaction to what the community wants. And for the War Within, they'll be adding things based on community feedback too. Delves and Warbands are two of the things that are a direct reaction to player feedback. Now looking back at the teasing of patch 10.6, it did not go the way it was intended. It was unplanned and they overplayed it. In terms of philosophy, the team does not want you to feel forever behind if you miss a few days, so the team has no plans to bring back such grinds. And lastly, they're looking at improving both the new player experience as well as the returning player experience. They also took the time to talk about the live team. So the experimental gameplay team is now just part of the live content team, and they have a giant list of crazy things they want to do. The live team itself works on live content for the game. They don't work on dungeons or raids or anything else like that. Instead, they work on things like more holiday updates and fun content coming in the future. It took until mid-2023 to see the goal of the live team come to life: to make the world feel alive and provide new content for all sorts of WoW players. They really work on the fun and wacky things. And lastly, we can absolutely expect more experimental gameplay in the War Within, and whatever works will return. Alright, we've covered a lot of information today, but there's one more category to go over: the miscellaneous things that didn't really fit anywhere else. So to start with, there's a new toy to reveal the maps for any full maps your characters have explored. Furthermore, they're strategic about releases of different WoW modes not conflicting with each other. However, they're fortunate that the retail and classic kata player bases don't overlap much, so they're not too concerned about releasing content for those two game modes closely together. When it comes to upcoming content, they're expecting to announce a 2025 roadmap at the end of the year. For Last Titan, the artists are working on creating concept art. For Midnight, the world builders and artists are already hard at work at making new maps. And of course, they're working on getting the War Within out of the door. Now lastly, they said a little bit about the Microsoft acquisition. Microsoft is letting Blizzard just be Blizzard. They're not asking Blizzard to do anything particular when it comes to World of Warcraft. And that's it. Even split between two videos, that was a ton of new stuff. Honestly, by far my favorite part was Holly Longdale openly communicating about what the team has learned. And I really wish they'd hold regular retrospectives with the community outside of the normal interviews when they drop new content. Well, that's going to be it from me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to keep up with more than just WoW videos, be sure to follow me over on Twitch and Twitter. For now, I'm Misc, and I'll see you again next time.